these games are always tough to coach when you go against really disciplined teams that have a very strong signature of how they play, and that's what this team does. You know, Air Force, Dave just does a great job, I tell you. And they're in all their games, and they just fight, and they never quit. They made 16 threes in their last game, and they had 13 against us tonight. You know, the ball started falling for them late in the season from the three-point line. They would have had a much better record, I guarantee you, if they were shooting up to their capabilities early. But they kept fighting, and, you know, we knew it was going to be a fight. We were very prepared to play this type of game, especially after the two previous games where they were both close games. And we were happy to come out on the winning side. It's survive in advance, as they say. So that's where we're at, and looking forward to getting our preparation in for the next one.
On that play in overtime where McCoy and Houston got the two chase down blocks, I mean, what were your thoughts watching that happen? Did you expect McCoy to get back into that play, and what did that mean for you guys?
Just happy they were back. You know, where you been? I was like, oh, okay, I know you. But seriously, I was glad they were playing like it was one and done time. Those were energy plays. Those were effort plays. A little additional passion. Understanding the dynamics of what is necessary to win in this kind of environment, and they showed it, you know. So that was good.
At the end of regulation, Coach, what was your call? What were you trying to do at the end to get the final basket?
Well, we had a call in on the previous timeout, so we wanted to just kind of come down and run the play, because every time we called a timeout, they were changing the defense. They were putting a 1-3-1 on us. They were putting, you know, not every time they called it, but I didn't want to give Dave such a good coach, so it was a little bit of a chess match there. You know, people will sit back and say, well, we should have called a timeout and set this up. Yeah, okay. No, not against Dave. You needed to make sure that we got the play executed the right way. We didn't do that. So at the end of the day, maybe I should have called the timeout, but that was the logic for not calling it, number one. Number two, we had called the play. They started to run it too early. And so then we tried to get them to slow down and run it again a little bit later. And then it got messed up because the timing was off on the play. So that's why that was the one that JoJo took the long three. Yeah, that was on me. We probably should have I don't know that we informed them when to start the play. Does that make sense? And I think so. There was like they were right in front of our bench, and we're like, not yet. Wait till 12, and then they started already, and then it was just a debacle that we can learn from. So that was it.
Marvin, did you feel like this was one of Brandon's best games in terms of rim protection?
Let me see how many blocks he had. I don't know off the top of my head. He ended up with 3. I don't know if it was one of his best, but he was obviously getting better at challenging shots late. I think both he and Mbake are pretty good shot blockers when they challenge it late and be the second one to leave the ground. And we're still teaching them. We're still teaching them that technique. So Brandon did a good job and caught a couple of them late.
Right here.
Marvin, talk a little bit about the preparation that you did with the guys over the past week, both mentally and physically, especially considering how the regular season ended. Get ready for this.
Right. Well, that's a good question because I was concerned, obviously, right? We lost 5 in a row, and you know, how do you get your boys back? What do we do to get them ready to play in this environment? So I leaned on staff and experience and put together a schedule that was conducive to them staying together a lot so that they could talk and dream and, you know, kind of engage with each other instead of being distracted. So we got the hotel. Thanks, Desiree. And we got a hotel, which we hadn't had in our plans before, but we were able to do that, and that was really good for us. I thought that those guys being able to lock in and watch extra film, eat together, just the whole schedule. I look back at previous years at what we did and some of the other years that we were successful, and I keep those schedules, and so I just leaned on some of those, and yeah, it worked out.
We're here.
You played them last week. Obviously, it did not go well here. How much will you talk about that game? And is it good, actually, that you only have 24 hours, that you don't have to focus now, you just go forward instead of looking back now?
You know, it's good for us in the sense that, you know, we're on a schedule now that's very concise, and they're in the dip. They're doing what they're supposed to do to rejuvenate their bodies right now, both mentally, physically. They're on a very tight schedule. They won't have the opportunity to be distracted because we're going to be hands-on until this journey's over for us. So I think playing them, Ed, as recently as we have, you know, they won that game and we won the one before, and that is what it is. You know, we talk about that game, the first one there, being a big win for us. I know Caleb was out, but that was a big win for us. It was a win on the road against a top 25 team. And they played like a top 25 team when they came here with a man out, with Lindsey out. So you got to give them credit for that win. And so tomorrow we'll lace them up again and, you know, may the best team win.
Coach, it seemed like the defensive intensity was way up in the first 5 to 10 minutes of each half and then through the duration of the overtime period. Did you sense that, and how do you get your guys to play that style of defense for an entire 40 minutes against Reno? I
leaned on some guys, I think, a little bit. That fatigue started to kick in. I think maybe Jordy's had a couple turnovers that were fatigue-based turnovers. I think that the other thing that we need to do going forward is make sure that we get their bodies ready for tomorrow. And then when you're in one-and-done time, and there's a lot of guys that play a lot of minutes. Reno, you know, UNR has, 7 guys they play or whatever it is. So they're conditioned to do that well, or to play that way as well. So, and these guys, Jordy plays a bunch of minutes, and some of the other guys. So I don't think it would be too much of a problem for us in our second game.
Time for a couple more right here.
Marvin, your big guys have done really well against Nevada in both games. Maureen 31 the first time in Reno, but only 5 last week. And he's been struggling from the field. Is he kind of holding the key for you tomorrow?
I think they all do. I think this is going to be a team win. We're not going to beat Reno if we come in there and rely on the bigs or rely on a guard. It's just they're too good. I mean, they're one of the top teams in the United States, and we're building, and we're trying to get our figure out what bricks need to be in what place to build the foundation. So it's going to be a challenge. I mean, they're a really, really good team. So I don't think it's going to be a game where you got to rely on a particular position, if that makes sense.
Let's go. Last question.
Coach, emotionally, can you approach Reno as the rival or a redemption game, or are you treating it like as survive and advance?
I think typically you approach all of these games like they're rivals when you get in a one-and-done team, because you want to have your guys playing at their top, right? So at their maximum level. And you do certain things against rivals to do that. Anytime you play a rival, it's going to be a rivalry game. But these are obviously weighted a little bit more heavily based on the circumstances that it ends that team's chances of winning the Mountain West Conference tournament if they lose. So I think it's a little bit of both.
JoJo, Air Force finally took the lead in overtime a couple times, and then you guys went on a 12-point run. What did you say to each other, or did you say anything to each other to that kind of triggered the run?
It wasn't anything, special. Coach gave us a game plan to follow, and, we just kept reminding each other that we got to get a stop, and we got the stops when we need them, and they're a great team, they're tough to guard, they put us in a lot of actions, and they got a lot of easy buckets, just because they play that hard offensively. But we got the stops that we needed down the stretch.
Brandon, early in overtime, it looked like Air Force had a fast break, and Shakur Justin got a block from behind, and then you chased it down and blocked the second shot. What was going through your mind? What did you see? What made you get back into that play and come up with that block?
I just wanted to win, and it was winning time, and I seen Shakur block the shot, and I knew that what's his name? Number 12 was going to get the rebound, and Scotty was going to get the rebound, and I just wanted to contest, and luckily I got the block.
Brandon, in the first two meetings, Brandon over here, in the first two meetings, Air Force really did a good job, and you and Shakur, as far as keeping you guys from scoring a lot, and you combined for, I think, 44 today or something like that. Was there anything you did strategically that was different than those first two games?
I think the guards did a really good job of penetrating and finding the open man, and I feel like me and Shakur was just a good, receiver on that end. Also, I just know that, most of the time people stop me and Shakur because we stand in one place at, the whole game. And so I try to make sure that I just look for open spots to be at for my team to kick it off to me and just, as well as Shakur, and just go to the glass. I think, we just really been focused on rebounding the ball more and playing harder.
Other questions for our student athletes over here?
Jovan, you guys get Nevada tomorrow. You split the regular season with them. Your thoughts going into that game and just playing them again?
It's no X and O's, when we go against them. I mean, it's just about who wants it more. I mean, they know us pretty well and we know them pretty well. So, I mean, whichever team comes ready to play is going to win the game.